know what I'm doing. I didn't sleep a wink, worried over your dad, Mr. Icky.
It's okay, Mom. I don't even care.
They really do care.
Alright, it's been a little while, but we're back and we are no longer a trio, we are a duo, long story short.
Yeah, we are the power duo now. We're like, we're like Jesse and James. We're like...
Yeah, we're just two dumbasses.
What was that other... Do you remember in Pokemon when there was like Jesse and James, and then there was like some other duo? Do you remember that in the anime?
I can't remember what they're called.
Oh, Butch and Cassidy. Like,
yeah.
You know how it's like, Jesse James and Butch Cassidy or whatever. Mm-hmm. We're like the Butch and Cassidy because we're not quite that cool yet. I don't think I'm gay enough to be James, or have crazy enough hair to be Jesse. So, but anyway, welcome to EMESIS. We had a bit of a downtime for several reasons, interpersonal thingies, and then I ended up in the hospital.
Yeah, tell us about that.
So basically, about a couple weeks ago, was having really horrible abdominal pain and was like, I wonder what this is about. I was, not to get too gross, but was shitting and vomiting blood, and it was like, this is not something that a human being does not normally. And so I went to the hospital. I was laying on the floor of the waiting room, which was kind of bizarre. I don't even know why. I was sitting in a wheelchair, and I was like, you know what? I don't want to be sitting right now. I felt like I'd be more comfortable laying down, but then I laid on the fucking tile floor, and that didn't help. So I just got up after like 20 seconds and just went.
It's impossible to get comfortable in a hospital, I swear to God.
Oh, I know. And thankfully it didn't take too god-awful long for me to be seen. But anyway, so it turned out that I had something called C-Diff, the letter C space D-I-F-F, which is some kind of stomach condition. I will not get into specifics of how horrible it was, but basically it's a contagious stomach thingy that if you do not get it checked out, it can lead to all sorts of things like infection in your bloodstream and whatnot.
Jesus Christ.
So the doctors pretty much told me that there was a pretty good chance I could have just died if I didn't go in around the time that I did with how horrible of pain I was having. So I thought it was just gonna be a thing where I get some electrolytes and they blah 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 ship me off after a couple days.
Kind of just pump your body up and get you going.
Exactly, like they do every time I end up in the hospital, which is weirdly often. But then they said that it's a contagious infection that I have that I need to be in a single room for until it's over, which lasted about 9 or 10 days. I went in there at the 28th, I think, and I got out on the 6th, which was a few days ago.
Yeah, this was during the election and all that too.
It was during, I missed Halloween, which, not like there was really much to do. I'm not fucking movie Bob, so I don't give a shit about Halloween,
They ruined Halloween or whatever he said.
Oh my god, yeah, as an aside, he said, they took Halloween away from me, and it's dude, you're 40-something. Who fucking cares?
Just watch a Halloween movie or something.
I know, turn on the fucking Sci-Fi Channel or something. I don't know. But, so I missed Halloween. I was in there for the whole, just about the whole election cycle. I mean, we thought it was going to be over on, the morning of the 4th, and that ended up going on until, yesterday or the day before.
A few days ago, yeah. It was, almost a week-long election, basically.
And it was so funny, because I remember everyone was like, oh my god, we're going to be knowing what it is on, the night of the 3rd, and it's no. That couldn't have been further from it, actually. That... Yeah, so anyway, I was in the hospital for that time, and, it was a very interesting experience. Since I was contagious, I was not allowed to leave my room, so I had to be laying down essentially for 9 straight days, with nothing to keep me company except my cell phone with the charger and a Bluetooth speaker. And then cable TV, which, EMESIS listeners, I don't know if any of you have TV anymore. Probably not. I have live TV right now because my mom likes watching football, but in general, like, we don't have,
Yeah, we have TV for, like, all that shit, too, but everything else is, like, you just put on the Chromecast and throw Netflix, YouTube, or Prime on there.
Or Hulu or some shit. Yeah, like, pretty much anything. Hell, get a fucking long HDMI cable and then hook your computer up to your TV. Bam, you can watch fucking anything you want, like...
Yeah, that's also a good strategy.
But anyway, so I was sitting there for 9 days, just about, give or take, watching, like, just all sorts of fucking dumb shit on the TV, because there wasn't much else to do, and I was kind of almost doing, like, market research in a way, like, just seeing what fucking... Because I never watched TV, so I was like, what are people actually watching nowadays? And I will start with, the Premier League. I'm not going to talk too much about it, but...
Oh yeah, you're a soccer fan now.
Yeah, for whatever reason, I just, like, was flipping through channels, and I saw that the Premier League was on, which is the big, like, it's like the NFL of soccer or whatever. Like, it's some big, like, you know, thing that happens. And I don't know, I was really compelled by it. It's the kind of thing where you put it on, and you're like, oh, maybe I'll watch, like, a couple minutes of it, and then you look up at the, like, the time thing, and 45 minutes have passed, and you're like, oh,
no goal.
Oh, no, yeah, no goal. Like, the first one that I watched was Chelsea facing, fucking, I don't know, some other team. And there was no goal until, like, 50 minutes in. And I was like...
That's very typical. Like, your soccer games are going to be determined by, like, a single goal or two.
But the thing about it, though, is that, like, it's still really interesting to me, like, even when they're not... Because it's just, like, a complete game of, like, two people, like, bopping their heads against balls to get them to, like, go away from each other. It's, like, really interesting to me. And... the one thing I really like about soccer compared to, like, I don't know, pretty much most American sports is that, or specifically football, which I know is what they
Football I can't get into.
Football, to me, is interesting, but, like, I like watching it if I'm, like, rooting for one of the teams or whatever, but fucking, in football, like, if one of the people falls or whatever, like, if the ball goes out of bounds, you have to wait, like, fucking 30 goddamn seconds or more for the next, like, you know...
That's the thing I don't like, is that it's got, like, all this action, but the action lasts, like, 5 seconds, and then stop, alright, we go here, start again, and it just keeps going like that, and I just can't get into that. I prefer some shit like tennis, or boxing, or even, like, hockey for that.
Well, like, or even, like, I watched a little bit of rugby when I was in there, and rugby is fucking cool, because rugby is just, like... some dude catches a ball and then everyone murders him. It's awesome.
Yeah, that sport's literally just like a battle royale on a field.
Like, I couldn't even believe, like, it was so funny when I was watching rugby, they would show all these people's close-ups, and they all look like fucking Benny Safdie's character in Good Time. The amount of, like, fucking head injuries they've sustained, they just all look like they're completely tuned out. Like,
they're just chugging down beers.
And, like, anyway, so I was watching the Premier League, and then I also was watching Socially Distanced People's Court.
Oh, that looks like fucking hell. You sent a picture.
Yeah, I'm gonna I'll, like, show a picture on screen. It's one of the most dystopian things I've ever seen in my life. It was basically this People's Court, except the two people, like, in question, so it was basically one of those ones where, like, it was like, so this guy is cheating on this girl or this woman, and she wants there to be more seriousness in the relationship, but this guy can't stop cheating, but they can't be in the same room because of COVID, so they were both, like, zoomed in on these fucking monitors, like, or, like, TVs, basically, and it's so funny, like, what is the fucking bailiff gonna do, like, turn your volume down?
Yeah.
Like,
I think it's funny because it reminds me of, like, Sele in Evangelion, or it reminds me of fucking the Jedi Council whenever, like, one of the members isn't there, there's a hologram or some shit. Like, that's literally what we're at right now.
And it's at that point, it just made me wonder, why do we even need People's Court right now if that's, like, the fucking extent you have to go to let it happen?
It's not, like, that important.
No, it's absolutely not. Like, it was, like, amusing to me to watch because of the fact that it was socially distanced. Like, I wouldn't give a shit about People's Court otherwise.
The last time I watched anything like that, it was fucking... the day after the WoW expansion came out a couple of years ago, because my friend and I had like a weekend-long LAN party playing that, and we went to McDonald's in the morning, and that was what was on TV, and I remember it so like vividly. It was just like these such like mundane cases, but they're making them so dramatic for TV.
No, I know, it's so fucking stupid, and like you can tell that they're hamming it up. Like these two people, it's like realistically. So what this one was this like couple wanted to be more serious, and the guy wanted to have kids, but he was clearly cheating on her with a woman that he lived with and stuff. Like, it was so fucking like, you would not be sticking around for that if you like realistically, I would think. I don't fucking know. I mean, maybe these people are that stupid. I don't know, but
it's not as good as Judge Judy, because Judge Judy has that one episode where the guys are like having a dispute over Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
I haven't seen that. What is it?
I can't remember the full specifics, but like it had to do with Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I'll send you a picture. I'm pretty sure Judge Judy holds up like a Blue Eyes White Dragon or something. It's the funniest
That
shit.
is awesome.
I'm gonna send it to you, and you're gonna put it in the fucking editing or whatever.
Oh, absolutely. That's fucking incredible. Oh,
like,
and then
that's good, but then People's Court's just like, oh yeah, this guy like broke into this house, and he's like, no, I didn't, and then they just solve it. It's very mundane.
Then I watched Socially Distanced Divorce Court, which was I didn't talk about that one because it wasn't as interesting, but the fact that they're still doing that too is very funny to me. So what that one was, they actually had the two people there, like, at the podiums or whatever, like, in person. But the audience, because there's usually a crowd at divorce court, that was, they were zoomed in on these, like, monitors in the background.
That's like fucking, like, Ellen right now, or Oprah. That's all they do.
And then, like, there was this one where it was like, and today's super fan is, like, you know, Denise from Wisconsin. She's a big fan of yours, Judge, whatever the fucking judge's name is. And it was like, say hello. And she's like, hi, Judge, you know, blah, blah, blah. It was so fucking weird. And then, let's see, what else was there? Oh, well, that's so the Halloween shit really upset me because, so if any of you grew up like we did, you were treated to some great Halloween specials from these different shows, like on Cartoon Network and Nick, or excuse me, YTV if you're Canadian.
YTV, hell yeah.
But like, it's just really sad to me. I tuned into Cartoon Network hoping that they would be showing something that wasn't Teen Titans Go or Steven Universe, and like, no, you're not even getting that on fucking on
Cartoon Network.
You're not getting that on Halloween. And, like, I wouldn't expect them to show, like, Scary Godmother or anything, but, like, they're sitting on, like, 20-plus years of all these really memorable fucking specials from, like, you know, Billy and Mandy, Ed, Edd and Eddy.
And they're just showing you, like, a random episode of TTG.
And, like, I looked up the list of Cartoon Network Halloween specials, and for some reason Teen Titans Go does have, like, 8 of them, but it's like, that's still the same goddamn show. You can't even make an exception on that day for fucking... I just don't get it. I mean, in general, I think Teen Titans Go is awful. I'm not... And I know that's not a fucking unpopular opinion, but I just don't get... What? I mean, this is an aside, but why would you do that to Teen Titans of all franchises? I don't fucking... I will never understand that, but...
I couldn't even begin to describe.
And then on fucking Nickelodeon, they did the same thing too. Like,
there's so many specials they could have shown for Nickelodeon.
At least show the goddamn SpongeBob Halloween special.
Yeah.
One where they become snails. Like, that's something. That's like anything. But no, you go on there and it's the same bullshit. They'll just be showing like the Loud House, or like, not Game Shakers. They have like all these new shows now that I didn't recognize any of them. And Modern Nick is honestly super fucking depressing to me because, well, same with Cartoon Network. My broader point is that none of these channels fucking matter anymore, and you can tell that they know that. And it's sad. Like, I just don't get it because when I was a kid, like, there was some value in nostalgic content that I wasn't really familiar with, and I don't get why these, like, fucking companies just don't bring them back. Like, Are kids nowadays just that like they reject atavism that much, and they just don't want to see anything that didn't come out in the past like 3 years? I really don't get it, because they don't show like they'll show SpongeBob at Nick at Night now.
Really?
Like I don't. Yes, they don't show like unless I just caught it at the wrong times. They do not show SpongeBob at all during the day. They show it when they're showing like Friends and fucking George Lopez and stuff. Like that's how much they realize with their audience is that everyone that apparently wants to watch shows like that is way older now.
They still do the George Lopez runs?
They do, like, but they only show, like, 2 episodes at a time, like, every now and then.
Oh, because, like, now the new generation, I know, like, this is just to sound like, oh, the generation sucks or whatever, but, like, they're gonna miss out on waking up at 2 a.m. with their TV on and having George Lopez intro playing.
Oh, I know, like, you won't even get to hear, like, the fucking...
Low.
Like, that's fucking sad. I don't know. And fucking Friends is an awful TV show, too.
Yeah, fuck that.
I don't understand how anyone gets any value out of Friends. Like, even like, I guess there were a couple memes about it, like that one with the monkey playing the music or whatever. Like, that's a solid meme, I guess. Like, it has meme potential or whatever. But then, the show itself is just the complete nothing. None of the characters are interesting. None of the
I see it as, like, the default show. It's just kind of like... It's just, like, a very standard show. It just kind of exists to fill a void of basic show, and that's like all it is. There's like no like depth to it or anything.
No, yeah, like even like I know George Lopez isn't fucking rocket science, but there's like some stuff going on to it. Like just the fact that George Lopez is such a terrible father in that show makes it more interesting than Friends. Like
yeah.
But in general, though, I'm just so sad at how much it doesn't seem like TV matters anymore, and obviously it doesn't because like we have the internet now, and you can basically, if you want to watch SpongeBob, you just go on Amazon Prime Video, you know what I mean? But if you have TV, there's no reason to have it, I realized when I was in there. Like, I would not be paying fucking even $50 a month for, like, Hulu Live TV to get this. There's nothing there.
Yeah, like...
If you go on on Cartoon Network, they'll show, like, Gumball sometimes. I like Gumball. It's a good show, but, like, that's... For some reason, the only one they show from that era. They don't show Regular Show. They don't show Adventure Time. They don't show any of these, like...
All the other classics.
Flapjack. They don't show Flapjack. They don't show even, like, Chowder or anything. Like, all that stuff is just gone now.
That's weird.
It's fucking... It is weird, because there's still a market for that stuff.
Kids
like,
would still like that. It's not like that is that old, at least some of those. Like, they aired in, like, the past decade.
Regular Show is mostly liked by people like our age and older. Like,
yeah, and I feel
I
like
see people online in their 30s that really like Regular Show.
Yeah, it has like a very broad appeal. I feel like kids could get it. I don't know, because when I can't remember when I first started seeing it. I think I was like 13 or so, but like I feel like at least kids could get something out of it. But it definitely has a big appeal to an older audience.
Absolutely, because you can tell, because it's not a very condescending show. That was like a big problem with a lot of these kids shows I was seeing in there, or like, not even the kids shows, just like the way that these channels present themselves. I couldn't really tell if it was like a bunch of 50-year-olds like trying to appeal to children, or if it was like people slightly older than us trying to appeal to children. I don't know which is worse. Like, to me, both are really fucking cringy in terms of they're trying so hard to... They go on TikTok, basically, and that's what they figure all these kids want. Like, that's... Especially Nickelodeon, the way that it's presented feels so plastic and so TikTok to me.
And, like, back in the day, they used to try to make these channels seem like you were cool for watching them. It's like, you're not watching those, like, you know, like, baby channels anymore. You're watching real TV. Like,
and it's funny to me that Nickelodeon used to take the piss out of Disney Channel all the time for being more childish or whatever in shows like iCarly, and then now they are Disney Channel. It's just fucking having Jake Paul go on screen and be like, I'm Jake Paul and you're watching the Disney Channel. It's just that, except now they have all these people that I've never even heard of, which I guess I wouldn't have heard of them because I'm not 8, but like,
it's like the generation before us isn't gonna know Miranda Cosgrove, but like we're not gonna know the TikTok people.
they would have all these little segments of these people, and they're like, oh wow, we got like Rob Brown from this show, and it's like, I've never fucking heard of this person. Like,
yeah, you would.
It'd be one thing if they had like Drake Bell on like one of those segments or something. Like, people still remember who that is.
The kids aren't gonna know who that is.
But the thing is they're not even making an attempt to let them know who that is.
Yeah,
And that's what makes
sad.
me sad. And I know that I sound completely fucking, like, I sound like a boomer right now or whatever, but Jesus
I get it,
Christ.
though, because when I was watching TV back when I was a kid, it was, you know, there was the new stuff that was airing, like iCarly and that, but then there was the stuff from, like, the previous generation that was still airing, like, not maybe new episodes, but reruns for sure, like Malcolm in the Middle, and that's, like, a classic.
Well, not only that, but you would have, like, the Nicktoons channel that would be showing Ren and Stimpy, Rocko's Modern Life.
Oh, yeah. So we had Teletoon, and then we had Teletoon Retro, which played, like, cartoons from, like, all the old generations before, like, what was modern, pretty much, at the time.
Yeah, they would show Ren and Stimpy and stuff, and you can't fucking find that on TV now.
No, not
You're
a
lucky to
chance.
find a channel that's playing, like, old Simpsons. Like, it's weird.
Actually, I did watch old Simpsons on TV not that long ago, because I guess it's Much. It's similar to MTV. It's called Much, though. Like M.
Oh yeah, Much Music. Which, I mean, like, it's probably also not about music anymore.
Yeah,
either.
it's not. But they play, like, old Simpsons episodes usually, like, every evening. But then I think there's, like, newer shit on there, too. But, like, that's about it that I could find. And then, like, even, like, MTV doesn't really have much anymore. Like, I was looking at the MTV section, it's like, God, this is depressing.
Dude, MTV, I had that in the hospital, too, and I would tune into there every now and then, and literally the only TV show they would ever be showing, every single time I went there, was, I think it's called Ridiculousness.
Oh, yeah,
It's
that's
some,
their
like,
thing.
It's just some show where they have a bunch of famous people on to react to videos
It's
they found
Tosh.0.
online.
It's literally just like a Tosh.0 equals 3 kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly, except they don't even have a Tosh point, or they don't have a Daniel Tosh. Like, Daniel Tosh, give him this much credit, you at least remember who he is, because he has, like, some kind of personality. They just will have, like, Justin Bieber on there or something to watch a video where a guy, like, falls down a shaft, like a flight of stairs or something.
And then the reaction's like, oh man, like I don't want that to happen to me. Like, yeah, no shit.
I have to imagine they were pre-recorded, because they had, like, an audience, and I can't imagine anybody risking dying to go see Ridiculousness live. But, like, they would just have all these people, and it's like, I also didn't even recognize a lot of these people. Maybe I'm just not, like, I don't watch enough reality TV or something, but I just felt completely isolated. It was like fucking walking on the moon watching TV, honestly. It was weird. It's a completely different thing. And the fucking Sci-Fi Channel, I mentioned
That's
it
the
earlier.
big one you gotta talk about.
The Sci-Fi Channel is so infected now with these fucking movies that are just post-Sharknado. They're like, well, people liked that Sharknado was so bad that it's enjoyable, even though
It's
was
not.
designed... It's not. And it was designed from the ground up to be that, which kind of takes away the magic of it. Like, I was talking to Chris about this before we started recording the pod, that, like, Sharknado is just designed from the ground up. They know it's bad, and that completely ruins it to me. Like, Plan 9 from Outer Space or something would not be enjoyable if Ed Wood was like, oh yeah, I'm going into this knowing it's going to be a bad thing. It's like, no, the reason that it works is because they wanted it to be... Like, this is why The Room works, because
It was
The Room,
genuine.
Tommy Wiseau thought he was doing something really special and he was making the greatest movie in the world. And then you watch it and he's just like, they're fucking throwing a football in the void because they didn't bother to animate the background or whatever. It's incredible. Like, nothing about that movie was planned, and Sharknado is, and that to me completely ruins it. And then the fucking sci-fi people took the complete wrong impression of that. Yeah, Sharknado went viral for how bad it is, and once you realize that that was the point, it's like Lil Pump or something. It's like, that's the point, and then you fell for it, and then it just doesn't lose it loses all its
Yeah,
luster.
like when they're making like Sharknado 5 or however many of those there is, it's like...
When they're making... One of the doctors came in to talk to me, and they saw that I had the Sci-Fi Channel on mute, and they're like, oh yeah, I love watching that stuff, like, it's just so... Like, it's just so bad, but it's really amusing. And she said that there was one that she watched that was, like, Sharknado versus the giant octopus or something. It's like, okay, at that point, it's just, you're being played.
Yeah, like, there's no point to watch that stuff. It's not even, like, interestingly bad. It's just kind of like, okay, they're trying too hard to make shit. Like, I want to see someone accidentally make shit.
But then, so the sci-fi people were like, oh, you want shit? Well, we'll just keep making stuff that is intentionally bad, and you're going to keep watching it anyway.
It's literally like Hallmark for bad movies, pretty much. Because, you know, like Hallmark Christmas specials, it's always like
of course,
the blonde white couple that gets married at Christmas or something.
Yeah, it'll be some movie called, like, The Christmas Miracle, and then it'll be about, like, somebody has, like, a dying son or something, but then, you know, through a Christmas miracle, they survive, and it's such a feel-good thing or whatever. Except this is all... Like, I saw this one that was the most generic fucking bullshit, like, zombie nothing movie ever. And it basically felt like I was watching, like, a really low-rent Dawn of the Dead, except it came out, like, a few years ago.
Yeah.
Like... It really just felt like it didn't... I don't even know if it was trying to be, like, bad. It just had that vibe of, like, yeah, we know this is schlock. You're gonna watch it anyway. It's just, like, that is... I feel fucking condescended to.
And one of the problems with that is they never have, like, interesting cast choices. It's always just, like, D-list actors. But at least, like, you know, like, those really shitty Nicolas Cage movies, at least those are fun to watch because Nicolas Cage is a good actor. Or at least, like, interesting enough to make those movies watchable sometimes.
Well, it's almost like Robert Pattinson in Twilight. I watched Twilight when I was in there, and, like, Twilight is a terrible movie, but, like, Robert Pattinson's, like shittiness or whatever. Like, he's a great actor, but... in that, he doesn't have anything to work with, but he still tries to sell it, and that makes it entertaining. Like, you got that at least, but then these fucking Sharknado movies, yeah, they'll just have... You've never even heard of any of the actors.
Or then, like, in the sequels, they started having, like, these guest cameos from people, but it's not even, like, funny.
It's like, wow, you got Guy Fieri in there? Wow, that's really... I don't know if they actually did, but it's like, wow, you got... I don't know, it's so stupid. I don't get... But it's literally just, like, hospital entertainment, I guess. It's what you put on when you objectively have, like, nothing else to do.
Well, that's what Twilight is. Twilight is, like, doctor's office, hospital, dentist core. Like, it's... You're in the waiting room with the TV kind of thing.
I had to go to an appointment yesterday, and in the fucking waiting room, they were playing Paul Blart Mall Cop on the TV. Like, that's level of entertainment.
That's one hell of a movie. I've seen both of those in theaters, unfortunately.
I only saw the very ending of it where, like, Kevin James makes out with this hot girl, and, like, I don't know anything that happened up to that point, but
did you see the guy getting arrested at the end or whatever?
I don't really
because I remember that so well because I think I told you it, and I've been meaning to, like, mention this, but when I saw Mall Cop 1 in theaters, I was, I think, 9 when that came out, and... at the end, like, whatever the big, like, ending part was, like, everyone got up and started clapping, and it was the first time in my life in a movie theater where I had experienced people clapping for a movie, because every other time it was just kind of like, the movie ends, you're like, yeah, it was good, or whatever, but this is like, people were clapping, and I was clapping with them, because I was like...
Paul Blart Mall Cop.
Yeah, the only other time I've seen, like, clapping for movies is, I guess, like... the end of, like, a Star Wars or Marvel movie where, like, the big fans are like, oh, this is awesome, and then they start clapping at the end.
The only time I have ever had people clap in a theater was when my brother and I saw the Justin Bieber movie in theaters.
You saw that in theaters?
I did, just to, like, we did, like, ironically, I guess, just to say we did it, and at the end, he's, like, got up and started clapping ironically, and then everyone else started doing the same, like, following him. I was like, fuck yeah, dude, this is incredible.
I want to do that at the end of, like, Alvin and the Chipmunks or some shit.
That movie is fucking terrible,
Is it Never
though.
Say
It's
Never,
like,
or something?
Yeah, so it's just like a documentary about Justin Bieber's very, very boring life leading up to that point. Justin Bieber's entire life... it, like, is told in that movie, like, how it happened, and his life was basically, he was some fucking kid from Canada, he started uploading videos on the internet, then Usher found him, and that's his life story.
It's
that's
not interesting. It's, like, one of the least interesting artist careers of all time.
And that, like, it was literally only an excuse for them to have the parts of the movie that were, like, a 3D concert. Like, that was the only reason anybody went to see that thing. But they were like, well, we can't just show a concert in theaters. We gotta have something else to go
Well,
with it.
I mean, they could have just done what the Jonas Brothers did probably, like, a couple years before that, where they had, like, a 3D concert with Hannah Montana on the Disney Channel.
Oh, well, they did that with, fucking, I think, like, High School Musical or something?
Probably.
I don't know, they just... Or no, they did that with One Direction.
That's what I was thinking. I was about to be like, yeah, that sounds right.
In, like, 2013, they did that. And, like, that, to me, is a pretty brilliant idea, because, of course, people are gonna go see it. Like, why do you need to attach a, like... It was basically just a third documentary and then 2/3 this fucking concert. And they couldn't just advertise it like that. They made it seem like it was mostly a documentary, and then you get this concert along with it. But no, the concert is just there to pad out the fact that there's nothing to this kid's life at all.
Yeah, like, why? I guess, like, you could sell it to kids. It's just, like, of all artists to make a documentary about, like, Justin Bieber is not that interesting. Even though he was a big trend at the time. Like, there's obviously, like... He was so young at the time. What else is there to talk about? Like, he had just started his career.
Hell, a fucking documentary about, like, what happened to him after he became famous would be interesting, where he's, like, pissing on reporters and saying that Anne Frank would have been a fan of his.
Think of. Yeah, or, like
that would have been a
neighbors.
great documentary, but no, it was just like, let's make Justin Bieber seem more interesting than he actually is. And I'm not trying to be like, ooh, Justin Bieber. I'm not trying to sound like Buckley or anything, or Joseph Buckley or anything, but it's just...
I personally...
Why him?
I like the deleted scenes where he sings the N-word. You ever seen those old, like, TMZ clips of him saying the N-word?
Yeah, I have. I've actually forgot about that, but Jesus Christ. It's actually probably the most impressive thing he's ever done, that happened and he didn't get fucking canned for it. Like, people still talk about it.
Yeah, he's not, like, seen as some demon anymore. People are like, oh yeah, that guy's chill or whatever. At least from what I've seen, I don't see a lot of hate for the kid anymore.
Yeah, I mean, his music cleaned up. I think his music nowadays is fine. Like,
I like the collab shit with Skrillex. That was all pretty good.
Yeah, I just listened to that song, What Do You Mean, the other day. It's a fine pop song, so I don't love it, but it's like, if it comes on the radio, I'm not going to turn it.
Yeah, it's fine.
But anyway, I just wanted to get that out there, I guess, that I think TV is completely dead, and it makes me really sad, because TV, like... I know, it was rotting our brains growing up, but it was such a formative thing for me, and kids aren't growing up with TV because there's no reason to, because now you can watch Jacksepticeye or something, you can watch virtual Twitch tubers or whatever, and tell them to take their top off or whatever. Like,
yeah. Teach your kids to, like, type in Twitch chats or whatever.
Yeah, like, basically, their form of interacting with the TV. Like, instead of watching Dora, they're, like, pogging in chat or something.
Actually, that is kind of awesome now that I think about it.
Oh, it is, yeah. Like, Dora's not exactly high art, you know?
Yeah.
Tell me about these people getting scammed for money.
Okay, this is my favorite cards. This is my favorite story that's happened in, like, the past couple months. So... a little while ago, Logan Paul, the big YouTuber, 20 million...
Our favorite.
Yeah, like, I don't know, he's probably got like 20 million subscribers or something. Pretty impressionable audience. Decided to get into Pokemon cards. And, like...
as an investment.
Yeah, pretty much. Or, like, nostalgia or whatever. And him just, like, doing this alone was inevitably going to, like, boost interest with collecting cards with younger people. And so Logan Paul gets his hands on a first edition base set booster box. And those things are very fucking rare because most people probably didn't, like, back in the day, they weren't buying booster boxes probably. They were probably just buying the packs in the stores.
Yeah, the only people that would be buying boxes probably are, like, the stores that would be carrying the packs.
Yeah, and so it's very hard to find a sealed, unopened box. Because
how many do you think there are?
There's
like,
probably
if you had to guess.
There's got to be, like, they probably printed like millions, not maybe.
No,
not
I mean
millions,
right now. Like,
right
how many
now?
surviving ones do you think there are?
There could probably at least be maybe like in the low hundreds. They are rare.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, there's no way there's like 1,000 of these.
Yeah, because like they obviously printed a lot of fucking boxes and packs and cards because it was a huge trend, Pokemon in 2000s and 90s. And so he gets his hands on this box opens it, and he has this guy that I guess, like, I don't think he bought the box off of him. I actually don't know. I think he won an auction, and this guy, this Collectible Guru / Crypto King are the two names he goes by. I'm just gonna call him the bald guy, because
Call him the con artist.
yeah, I'll put a picture. He looks like Jeff Bezos or something, and
It's like fucking Billy Corgan.
yeah. And so this guy, he is with Logan Paul during this opening, and he's like giving off prices of some of the cards. And so the really like famous one that people are making fun of now is there's like a Bulbasaur, and he opened it in the pack. I think it's worth $3,000 or $4,000 actually. And so Logan Paul wants to know how much it is. He goes like, oh yeah, it's like between like 10, 20K, at the highest 30K. The last one sold was 3 to 4K. So he listed like 5 prices.
That's literal just con artist bullshit.
Yeah, like, okay, so it's usually between $10,000 to $20,000, but at the highest it can be sold for $30,000, but the last ones sold were less than all of the numbers you just said.
I know, right? Like, they are presumably like a mint condition one going for like $4,000. It's like, what could possibly make up that 26 extra grand?
Yeah. And so
26 grand. That's a lot of fucking money.
It's a lot for a card, yeah. The thing is, the way they were opening the cards was kind of pissing me off, because like, I don't think they had gloves on. They were putting them in sleeves though, which was good, because it pisses me off.
Oh my god, if you're opening a fucking box that's worth like 400 grand or whatever, why would you goddamn not be wearing even like rubber gloves?
Yeah, I'll send you the video so you can just kind of skim through it, like the live stream, and just see what was going on. And now, so this is a side note. So in that stream, they were like looking at the centering and trying to like figure out what the PSA grading would be. And so now the guy at the card shop I go to says that like he's had like kids now that are like so anal about like cards. They'll be like buying them and they'll be like, oh, the centering's off or whatever, because Logan Paul and shit. Like that doesn't matter.
It's like, what the fuck do they know about it?
Yeah, like now all these kids want to get into Pokemon cards. This guy was saying he's had like kids go in and trying to find like, oh, do you have like the Charizard or whatever? It's like, no, I don't have the fucking Charizard.
Yeah, we're gonna have a first edition OG Charizard. Yeah, we're gonna be here. You can have it for $50.
They had 2 Charizards in there, but they weren't like first editions, and even then they were still pretty expensive. And one of them sold. It was like the biggest sale that store's ever had.
What I hate is what you were kind of telling me about is that now people are treating it like a goddamn stock market.
Oh yeah, people like don't care about collecting the cards. They just care about the value, and they don't actually care about having these like unique cards. They just want like, oh, like I could sell this in 10 years and make like a profit.
And so then who are those guys? You said this was gonna be the next part. Yeah, they bought it.
I'm transitioning right into that. So first off, before I get into that, this Collectibles Guru guy claims to be like really into Pokemon when he's like not at all. Like he just sees this as like an investing opportunity. He brings up nostalgia a lot for the Pokemon shit.
It's basically silver or gold or something. He sees it like you buy it and then you just wait for it to go up in value or whatever.
Yeah, and so these guys called Dumb Money, who I don't know much about their content, but I'm going to assume that they spend their money on dumb things and like cryptocurrencies and stocks and all that shit. Just going off.
I skimmed their channel a little bit. From what I can tell, it's just these like rich assholes that will like just flex on them having more money than you, and they're like, oh, okay, we're gonna buy like a first edition like Abbey Road, first pressing or something.
And they've like never listened to the Beatles.
Yeah, exactly. Or they'll be like, okay, we're gonna buy like one of these arcade cabinets that there's 40 of in the United States, and we're never going to play it. You can't have it, but here, check it out. Like they didn't do that, but that's just an example. Yeah. Like they'd get like a cabinet of Ninja Baseball Batman or something, and be like, yep, we have it. You can't ever play it.
Yeah, I know.
But we're not going to play it. It's like, it's so fucking annoying to me, honestly. I like, not just because I hate rich people, I do, but it's just like, there's got to be a much better use of your money than just trying to flex on other people with it. Like, it's basically like if Rice Gum got really into the stock market.
Oh, God.
Like, anyway, so what did these people do?
So, yeah, the Dumb Money people, they saw, like, Logan Paul's booster thing took off like crazy. And Logan Paul, by the way, I'm kind of stalling a little, but I forgot to mention that what he did with these boxes was you could buy the pack. like not like he literally gives it to you, but if you put $10,000 down for a pack, there would be like a pack in your name, and depending on like the value of the pulls, I think you would get that money or something. So you could lose money on this, like more likely than you would go into profit.
I saw that and I was like, this is such a goddamn scam. That's insane.
Yeah, Max Mofo was like saying that too. He was like, this is a fucking ripoff. Do not put money down on that.
But what I didn't get is why the fuck does Logan Paul need like scammed money?
I know.
Does like there couldn't have been that much of a fucking dip in his pockets when like YouTube demonetized him for 4 minutes after he filmed a dead body on their website.
Yeah, really. And so if you think about it, you've got so $10K a pack, and I'm going to assume that these boxes had 30 packs in them. So that's a lot of fucking money.
Or even like 36 or something. Yeah, so basically these boxes, from what you said, cost anywhere from like $300,000 to $400,000.
At least like the one that Dumb Money bought. I think before that it was like somewhere between $100 to $300.
And then...
Yeah, so Dumb Money...
Then...
So the Collectible Guru, bald guy, he sells Dumb Money a first edition base set booster box, just like the one that Logan Paul opened. And he's got this whole story about it. So he says he got it off of this seller. This guy had 3 of these, and he said that his parents bought them back when they had come out in like 1999 here. And they kept them in a gun safe for 20 years, which already sounds stupid. Who buys... Like, back at the time, who was buying like 3 of these booster boxes and throwing them in a gun safe? Like, no, you're buying them to open them.
Why would they figure that they're gonna be worth anything in the future?
No, people are gonna buy these boxes or packs out of the boxes and open them and hope that they get like cool cards that they can like put in their deck or whatever, put in their binder. No one's like buying the boxes themselves. And so...
They're not buying them for a fucking investment.
No, nobody was doing this.
Nobody knew that Pokemon was gonna be what it was.
Not at all. This was the first fucking packs that were ever made.
Ever.
And so he sells one of these 3 boxes to them. And so they brought this really big YouTube Pokemon guy, Leonhardt, and he's got a huge collection. He's like on Max Mofo's level when it comes to Pokemon collecting.
And like some over collecting.
Yeah, like he's very like knowledgeable about collections. He has a very like he's very reputable pretty much. And so they had him there to kind of look at the box, and I guess Collectible Guru / Crypto King didn't know that they were gonna open this box on stream. Like, he thought he was just selling it to them. He didn't realize that they were going to be opening the box then and there.
Which, first of all, that pisses me the fuck off. That these people are... Like, I guess it's... In that sense, I'm glad the... Like, we'll get into later, but... Why would you fucking buy a box for $300,000 to then just open it for a goddamn YouTube video where you're maybe gonna, like, get 100,000 views?
Yeah, like, buying a box like that is such a fucking gamble. Most collectors that buy these boxes just keep them because, like, they're very fucking rare. It's like, if you...
There's no way that there's gonna be anything in there that's gonna make up the fucking money.
Yeah, unless you're pulling, like, a PSA 10 Charizard, or even maybe the other starter Pokemon, they're worth a lot. You're not getting your fucking return on this.
No, and what pissed me off is that these people don't give a shit about Pokemon.
Yeah, they literally don't.
Like, I equated it to, like, if I didn't give a shit about stamp collecting, and then I just had a shit ton of money to burn on it, so I just got, like, a really rare stamp that there's, like, 5 of in existence that go for, like, $200,000, and I just burned it for a YouTube video. Like... That's what you're doing. You're breaking the seal on a thing that the only value on it, basically, is the fact that it's sealed.
Yeah.
And you're making one less of those in the entire world. You're permanently compromising it for a goddamn YouTube video, and you don't even care about what you're fucking doing.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And so he finds out that they're opening the box on the stream, and he's trying to, like... be like, oh yeah, like if it was resealed it would be like this, but I'm like certain this is real. And he's trying to like show like, because if it was resealed it'd be like this, so he was like really emphasizing this. And yeah, the box is open. There's 2 first edition base set packs at the top, and then under it there's some packs that are like reprints of the base set, and there's a couple opened packs in there, I think.
So it was a fake.
It was
literally.
Yeah, it was a fake. And
what I couldn't believe about this is that apparently this guy is known to be a scammer.
Oh yeah, everyone in the
this.
chat was like, yeah, this guy's shady. Like, I guess like certain people in the Pokemon community knew about him. Leonhardt didn't know about him. And Leonhardt, even when he saw like the box before it was opened, he had his doubts, and then he was the guy that confirmed it was fake when they opened it. But even before that, like people, like Max Mofo was in the chat watching because he hears that like some dumbasses are going to buy a booster box, and he wants to see what happens, obviously.
Yeah, I would have too if I knew that this was going on. And I just don't but what I didn't get, this guy conned them out of $300,000 at minimum, and then
I don't think they actually ended up buying it. Like, they had the money there, and I guess like when they found out it was fake, like they didn't give him the money for it, obviously, but he tried to play it off as if like he was the one that got duped.
Oh my god. But what I didn't get about that when you told it to me is that's not just a slap on the wrist.
That's a lot of fucking money to scam.
Plausible deniability does not hold up in a court of law.
Yeah, like he's very lucky that like
saying like, oh, I didn't know that these were fake. That's not going to happen. That's not going to work if you sold something to somebody for $50, let alone $300,000.
Yeah, so like he's very lucky that like he didn't take the money and left. So that way they don't get in legal trouble, because if they actually like bought it and then found out it was fake and he already had the money, then he would literally like be able to go to jail for that
forever.
But
yeah,
he did fake a phone call.
He
faked a phone call. At least everyone that like watched thinks it was a fake call. So
to who?
To the guy that sold it to him, apparently, in this story that he made up.
That's fucking madness. Why at that point just fucking admit that you lost, dude. Don't fucking.
So what happened here is they find out it's fake, and then he's like 1 second, and then like he's immediately on the phone with the seller, as if like the guy that sold it to him is like, you know, instantly there to answer this call, and he's like, yeah, we opened the box and it was fake and all that, and so it was this whole deal.
Then what the hell would the guy possibly say? Oh yeah, sorry about that. I thought I sold you the real box.
Yeah, like, oh, yeah, it was in my gun safe for 20 years. Like, I don't know. It was such a specific story.
That was such a, that should have, these people are fucking, these, whatever those rich guys'
dumb
money.
Are.
They're fucking idiots. Well, yeah, I guess that makes sense. Yeah, dumb, like, they get it, but they're fucking idiots. Why? Like, nothing about that story seems legitimate at all. I wouldn't drop $10 on that box with that story.
Yeah, and then they did end up getting a real box, not from the Collectible Guru, but
Did they open it?
Yes, they opened it. Of course they did.
Fucking god. I don't get it. It's one thing. People do this with Yu-Gi-Oh too, and I don't understand it. Like, this is like a whole series on YouTube of people. Not series from different people, but they'll all be like, first edition Legend of Blue Eyes White Dragon unboxing. Oh my god, ultimate pull, you won't believe it. I don't care. Don't desecrate these boxes.
Yeah, like if you want the valuable cards that are in these packs, buy the single, buy the card itself. Don't like rip open a box for a chance to get it that's like a very old vintage box. Like, keep that.
It's like, I don't know, it's one thing if you're like fucking opening a box of like some Yu-Gi-Oh set from like 2006 that nobody cares about anymore. I'd like, go ahead, do that. Like, I like watching old videos of people opening boxes of Yu-Gi-Oh packs from like 2005 or something. That's cool, but I don't like watching it when it's these people that they know what they're doing. They're only doing it for the shock factor of, wow, once I break that seal, that's it. Like, the value on this is gone. It's like, these are clearly only like done by people with enough disposable income that they can afford to piss away like $4,000. Because it's like, yeah, you buy a Blue Eyes White Dragon box for $10,000 or something, or however much they cost, and then you maybe recoup like $3,000 or $4,000 of that in the cards that you receive inside.
Yeah.
And there's such a disparity between how valuable the commons are in that set and the fucking
the commons are like 40
kind
cents, and then the rares are like, maybe the good ones are like $100 or something.
Well, the Blue Eyes, like the OG Blue Eyes and stuff, are pretty valuable and stuff, but they're not extremely valuable. They're not to the point that you would feel comfortable, at least that I would feel comfortable breaking a seal.
It's like if you got like original Beatles vinyl, and it was never opened before, and you just took it out and put it in your record player.
No, exactly. It actually reminds me, I was on the PS2 subreddit the other day, and somebody bought a sealed copy of Dragon Quest VIII, and they posted a picture of it, and they were like, should I open it? It's like, why did you buy a sealed copy if you're gonna be like, should
if
I
I
play
ever
the
bought
game?
a sealed game, it's staying in the wrapping.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, unless it's a
Yeah,
new
unless
game,
I
guess.
bought like a brand new PS4 or Switch game. I'm not gonna like keep that sealed. It's not gonna be valuable unless it's like some rare print.
And this person was even like saying that they had the Dragon Quest VIII on the 3DS too. So it's like, why would you? People are fucking stupid. I really don't. I don't get this culture of, and it sucks because I think like that these cards should have a nice little market, and it's being co-opted by people like Logan Paul.
People that see it as like a stock market and not as like, oh, I want like a binder full of these cards because it's just like a personal achievement or whatever.
Yeah, it's like, I think it would be cool to have a full set of like one of my favorite Yu-Gi-Oh sets or something, but that I could easily just do that by buying the cards. I don't need to buy a fucking like Cyberdark Impact booster box that costs me like $200 or something. I don't know. I just don't fucking... I guess get your bread. I mean, these people must have a lot of fucking disposable income if they can just be buying Yu-Gi-Oh boxes in 2002 or whatever.
I am glad I got to talk about this story though, because it just like, it was so funny to me that it happened.
These people deserve dumber than what happened to them.
Yeah.
Like, I don't... The thing is also, I think anybody's dumb for watching that. Why would you want to see a channel where people are just gloating?
Yeah, like, people were watching that, like, aren't fans, but, like, if someone's like, oh, yeah, I can't wait to see these guys, like, make all this money off of this pack, like, that's, like, what their audience is probably mostly.
It's, like, basically just porn. It's just people being like, I wish I had that kind of money, so... It's like, you know, I wish I could fuck that woman, but I can't, so I'll just watch someone else do it.
It's that
like,
for money.
Oh, I will never... I'll never be able to own a... It's like when I see people with really nice pinball collections. It's like, cool. I don't really care to see somebody flex on me that they have 200 pinball tables when I want just one. Like, I don't get... It's just jealousy porn. I don't fucking understand it.
Yeah, people like to, I guess, like, it's... They see it as, like, a way, like, a path to success. They're like, oh, I can get this one day, but instead of actually, like, working to get that, they just watch people have that stuff.
Oh, it's just Weezer. Weezer? Oh my god, it's Weezer! Oh my gosh, you guys, I love your music, oh my god. It's real people, it's really Weezer!
Hi, welcome back to EMESIS. Now we're going to be talking about my favorite video game of all time, made by our favorite developer, Gearbox Software, Duke Nukem Forever. So,
It's a classic.
Have you played this game, Chris? I must ask.
I didn't play the entire game. I remember a friend had a copy of it at his place. I was like, wait, you have this game? And he's like, yeah, it's not really that good, though. Kind of disappointed. And I gave it a little bit of a go, and I was like, yeah, like, this is such a slog. I am not finishing this.
So, I had this really bad bout of insomnia last year where I was, like, just fucking desperate to do anything to be able to fall asleep. And I was like, you know what? I've had Duke Nukem Forever sitting in my Steam library for like 4 years now. So I basically got it, or I got it as part of, I don't know, some fucking bundle. On Humble Bundle, I think they were just the games nobody fucking wants bundle or something. I guess the we'll pay you to take these off our hands bundle or whatever. They had like Duke Nukem Forever and just some other fucking games that nobody gave a shit about. But I got that one. It was just sitting in my Steam library, and I'm like, I'm gonna play this just to see. I was actually kind of legitimately curious because, like, all I ever really heard about that game was like Angry Joe reviewing it, Yahtzee reviewing it, like all these people hated it, and I was like, maybe. I mean, not that Angry Joe has like the most fucking incredible taste in video games. I mean, he gave Guild Wars 2 like a 9 out of 10, so maybe there's something to this. Maybe it was like a little overhated. No, it is not. It actually kind of is. Like, it's a really bad game, but not like bad in the way where it's particularly interesting. It's not like Dark Castle on the Genesis.
It's not like Sonic 06 or something like that, where it's like has a reason why people talk about why it's bad.
Yeah, like the closest that I ever got to Sonic 06 and Duke Nukem Forever was when I was doing platforming, and then I fell through a platform and into a cargo thing and couldn't get out, and I had to reset the level. Like that. Like, so there was a part where you had to be, like, jumping over these, like, suspended cargo crates or something, but for some reason I clipped through one of them and then was stuck in there and had to reset the level, like, the whole level, I'm pretty sure, because they don't have, like, super good checkpoints. But that game, I was talking about this in my Discord server earlier. I really don't see how... I don't think anybody QA tested that game and then reported back honestly, because if they...
Either that or the devs just straight up didn't listen to them and they're like, it'll be fine.
Well, what I'm thinking happened, yeah, maybe, is that these people were like, yeah, this really is not fun. The guns have zero weight to them. So the guns in this game have, like, the impact of, like, somebody knocking on your door. It is fucking pathetic. Like, the shotgun is supposed to have, like, the vengeful clap of God every time you use it, but it just feels like you're fucking using the pistol just about. It's fucking insane. Like, just, like, you can only ragdoll physics your enemies so much to make it seem like your shotgun has impact. Like, when you use the fucking shotgun in the Doom remake, it's like you're fucking, like, kicking them in the fucking face, dude. It's like, you feel like you're doing that. It's amazing. But then...
Yeah, you see an explosion, pretty much.
And you can kind of tell that Duke Nukem Forever is trying to be this, like, super badass, like, everything you do feels awesome. It's trying to be Bulletstorm, but it's not, because it has no satisfying shooting mechanics. The enemies are fucking just complete chargers. Every enemy is just like, alright, well, they're on a suicide mission, basically. They just charge you, and then you can get out your fucking fists and punch them, I guess. That actually has more impact than using the guns, sadly. And there's just so much shit in that game that doesn't work. There was a part in it where I was sitting there for like a goddamn half hour. There's a part that takes place in a strip club, and you have to go around and find popcorn, a vibrator, and either a magazine or a DVD. I don't remember what, but you have to find them for like the stripper in like a back room or something, like throughout the whole place. And you're moving slow as shit, and there's no enemies. Like, you're moving at like less than walking pace. It kind of feels like in Fallout when you're over encumbered or something. Like, it's that level.
But that's the default.
Yeah, for walking, and you just have to put up with that. And it's not the kind of game where when you get close to the object, it will like glow or something to indicate that that's what the object is. You just kind of have to hope that the area you walk up to will have one of these three items, and then you can't skip this. If it was the kind of thing where they would do the Alone in the Dark thing, where it's like, okay, do you want to just skip to the next part of the game? I would absolutely do that, but no, you can't fucking... It's a standstill, and I refuse to believe that anybody played that and was like, yeah, Gearbox, this is really what people want to be playing out of a Duke Nukem game.
I mean, maybe they didn't even have testing for it at all.
That's kind of what I'm thinking, because if they, like, what I'm thinking is that nobody gave a shit by that point, and they were like, whatever, people will shut up about this if we finally put something out.
Yeah, because, like, the game was announced in 2000 or something.
It was announced, like, during the N64 era, and then it finally came out.
Yeah, it was supposed to be an N64 game, and it came out on, like, the PS3 and the 360.
And it looks about as good as, like, an original Xbox game, too. Like, that game has no style to it. It looks like every fucking game that came out around that time. Like, but even less so. Like, I don't know, a game like AVP has some kind of, like, aesthetic to it. Even Aliens Colonial Marines has some kind of aesthetic to it. Like, this game this has no style whatsoever, and and I love the there's a multiplayer in that game, and when I played it, I think there were, like, enough people online for one match, and I joined it, and just kept getting rocket launched, like, as soon as I spawned in, and I'm like, fuck this, I'm gonna go do something else.
Okay, but who the fuck past, like, the days that game came out was playing the online multiplayer?
I don't know. I think it might just be, like, people that are doing it for the meme of, haha, let's see if anybody's stupid enough to play the multiplayer on Duke Nukem Forever, and then we'll immediately kill them.
And everyone's just like, a few people happen to be doing it that day.
And it's just all people, they immediately go for the rocket launchers and then just, like, kill you, like, in your spawn, and that's it. it's
I'm gonna look this up. I'm gonna go to that like site with Steam stats and see if people have been playing that game.
I don't get why anybody would be, but the thing is if it's sitting in your Steam library and you don't have that much else to do, it's like, I think was like some statistic, but like something like I don't know, 40% or something of like all Steam games bought are just not played at all. Like, I know for a fact that I have plenty of fucking games in my Steam library I'm probably never gonna play because I have shit like Regency Solitaire in there. And it's
oh god, so 15 minutes ago there was 15 people playing Duke Nukem Forever. 24 hours ago there was 47, and the all-time peak was 559.
I wonder when that peak was, because like, were people using Steam in 2011 when that game came out? Like, maybe, but
yeah,
oh, I'm sure they were.
That's
but
what
like,
it would have been.
That's so weird that there would even be more, like, a cap of more than like 100 people playing that game at a time. That, because like, game is so, like, if the people that were making it clearly didn't give a shit about it, why should I care about it? That was like the vibe that I got playing it. They just don't. I got the vibe that they didn't care. It was like the only person that seemed to be like interested at all was the guy who voices Duke, because he has that like, well, looks like I've got some babes, that kind of thing, like that kind of fucking dialogue. Like,
he's probably just like glad to be doing it again.
Yeah, because like all that guy was really doing outside of that, I remember he did voiceovers for Screw Attack at some point. He like, so Screw Attack, their top 10s, they used to have like this voice that'd be like, number 10, but then they eventually replaced it with John St. John to just be like, in like Duke voice, I guess, like number 10 or whatever. And I guess that's like, you gotta be doing something, I suppose. When you're at the point that you're making like videos for like late era Screw Attack, or like doing voiceovers for them, it's like you really don't have much else going on, I guess. Screw Attack's not even a thing anymore. They got the dumbest thing that could have possibly did happen. They got absorbed by Rooster Teeth and then shut down when they got a part of it. Like, they still do Death Battle, I think, but
yeah, I think Death Battle exists, but it's not. I don't even know if it's like a tied to that whole thing. I think it might just be its own. It's
really fucking weird. So I have a long history with Screw Attack, actually. I've known about them since like 2008 because so I used to watch this guy on YouTube called I don't think he's on there anymore, but his name was Ultimate UKFF Fan for Final Fantasy, and he was this like weird British guy that would talk about, he was obsessed with Haruhi Suzumiya and Lucky Star, and he would just like constantly talk about how much he loves Haruhi, and he had like this, he basically would do that thing where you have like your little cartoon sidekick, except his was him doing a terrible voice of Maya Fey from Phoenix Wright, and he would just have like these, like a sprite of Maya talking on screen while he would be like, hello, it's me, Maya Fey, you know, like that. Like, he had this really British accent.
That sounds like every like Rant Sona YouTuber.
Oh, I know, but this guy was in like the late 2000s. Like, he was way ahead of way ahead of the curve. And I remember he had this video about how much he hated the character Patricia Martin from Lucky Star, who was like the only like American character in Lucky Star, and I guess he just thought she was annoying or something. But he made this entire song about how much he thought she was annoying, and it was the fucking, oh Lord. But anyway, this guy he mentioned Screw Attack Europe one time, and I was like, what the hell is Screw Attack? And so I googled it and I found it, and then I started watching their like top 10s and video game vaults and stuff, and I basically kind of got me into like retro gaming, I guess. Like, and then eventually I found AVGN through that in like 2009 or 10, I don't know.
The first AVGN I ever watched was Rob the Robot.
Oh damn. Yeah, I remember when that video was new. Like, I think like,
yeah,
when I got into AVGN, I think the latest episode that had come out was Cheetah Man, which is like
that one too.
Insane to think about, because that was like 2000, I don't know, 10 or 11.
Yeah, I got into him around 2010, 2011.
And then I remember he did that collab with my favorite podcaster, Pat the NES Punk, who like...
We won't get into that right now.
all I'll say, though, is Pat is so goddamn lucky that James did that collab with him, because nobody would be watching that motherfucker's content under any other circumstances, especially not now, with, like...
Especially not now.
Did you hear about that Diablo Immortal thing?
Yeah, I heard all about that. I watched that video. It was in my subscription feed back when I used to watch that podcast.
Oh, Lord, I haven't seen it, because I already know what they're going to have said. They're just like... Yeah, we haven't played any of these games, but you're fucking stupid for being upset about this. That was like...
That's what it was. They were like, oh, yeah, it's just a bunch of man-children crying that, like, the new Diablo's on the phone. When it wasn't really, like, crying. It was just people like, what the fuck, Blizzard?
No, like, and I agree with the people that were saying, what the fuck. Like, who wants a fucking mobile Diablo game?
Exactly. And it was a reskin of some, like, Chinese ARPG.
Yeah, it's probably just like Raid Shadow Legends, but Diablo skinned. Like, who fucking wants to... Goddamn. And then, but that video had like the worst like to dislike ratio I've ever seen on a YouTube video, like dead ass. It had like... So there's this thing on Discord where when you share it's like a bot where when you put in a video, it'll tell you what the percentage is of like liked, dislike, or whatever. This was like...
It was like a decimal.
Yeah, it was like 0.14 out of 5. It was like that disliked because everyone like... I can't imagine who would watch that and is like, actually, yeah, Pat and Ian have a point here. Like, all it is like, I don't really listen to a podcast for people to tell me why I'm stupid for caring about something. And it's sad because I think that podcast has had some really interesting, like, developments, like, with that Coleco Chameleon bullshit. Like,
yeah, I liked that.
I would almost want to talk about that on here sometimes. I still think that's a really interesting story, but, like, for every one of those, you just have them saying that, like, people need to stop crying that the Order 1886 is 4 hours long. It's like... If I'm paying $60 for a game and it's 4 hours long, like...
I've never played that game or heard much about it. I just remember it was a launch title or early PS4 game, but I don't know shit about it.
I don't either. It was just some fucking, like, third-person shooter game from what I remember. But, like, people thought, like, they were really hyped for it, and then it came out, and you can beat it in, like, the time it takes to, like, fucking beat Kane and Lynch 2 or something. And
you can just like watch Return of the King like extended edition instead.
Yeah, and I just don't... Who wants to pay... Like, I don't know. I don't really pay $60 for games at all anyway. I just wait for them to go on sale. But Jesus, why would you...
But if you are, like, you're not gonna want to play it for 4 hours and be done with the entire game.
I know. It's like, if I fucking am spending even, like, $40 on, like... If I got the Master Chief Collection and only got 4 hours of gameplay out of it, it's like, I would feel goddamn cheated. But, like... And they even admit, by their own admission, they didn't know dick about this game. They were just like, they heard that people were sad that were upset that it's, like, not longer. And they're like, well, actually, you're a little pissed, baby, because I like games that are short. And it's like, okay.
Yeah, because they play, like, NES games.
Yeah, they play games you can beat in, like, an hour. Like, oh, wow, you can really sit down and beat, I guess, Mario 3 if you want to. Like,
yeah.
I love Mario 3, but it's like... people expect more out of a modern video game.
Yeah, like, there's been a lot of development in gaming since 1986.
I think they even used, like, Killer 7 as an example, and it's like, Killer 7 was not a popular game.
Wait, they used Killer 7 as an example of a short game?
Yeah.
But that game's fun. That game is, like, really fucking cool.
Yeah, like, I mean, I've never played it, but, like, I know enough about it to know that, like, that's a really stupid point of comparison because, like, Killer 7, from what I can tell, there's, like, no other game like it. There are other games like Order 1886. It's just not anything anybody was happy with. And I think people have a right, if they're paying for a product and it is a bad product, or, like, it is a disappointing product, they absolutely have the right to complain about it. If I bought a vacuum cleaner and it didn't clean stuff, I would have the right to complain about it.
Or it only worked for, like, one room in your house and then it shut down.
Yeah, like, oh, if I got a Roomba and then it just died on me in one day in, cool, I can't complain about that.
Oh, well, you're lucky that it cleaned what it did.
No, exactly. Oh my god. Like, and it sucks, because, like, I still kind of get the sense I could meet, like, both of them in real life and get along with them decently enough. Like, one thing I give Ian credit for is, like, the best taste in music of, like, anyone I can think of on YouTube. Like, when it comes to, like, at least, like, those retro gamer people. Like, he was, like, his whole, like, past, basically, was just doing a shit ton of LSD in high school and DJing. Like, that's pretty cool. I don't know.
That's awesome.
Exactly. And it's
That's better than, like, most of the tastes. Like, most of them probably only listen to, like, dad rock and metal, and then...
Well, like, fucking Pat the NES Punk's intro song was this Bad Reputation by Joan Jett for a while. Like,
I remember that.
And it's like, you can't even get somebody to write a shitty song where you're like, oh, he's Pat the NES Punk, these games are so gunk, or something. Like, literally just do anything with it. And you
even
choose...
like Game Dude and Irate Gamer had intros.
Yeah, like, obviously they're not gonna, like, actually have, like, a particularly talented person like Kyle Justin to do their theme for them, but Jesus, like, do anything. You're allowed to do anything. And
yeah, even if it's a jingle like JonTron had.
Yeah, like, or whatever, like, it could be anything. Well, and then the JonTron intro, like, I could hear it in my head right now, like, it's a pretty iconic song. But anyway, I think we're going to wrap things up now. We've been talking for, like, I don't know, like an hour 10 or something.
Yeah, we've reconnected. It's been a magical journey.
Oh, yeah, I haven't really been talking to people much since I got out of my horrible C-Diff pains. And, yeah, so thank you for listening. Stay off the rails.
Special message.
Fuck Brat Pitt from the website Letterboxd. Alrighty, thank you for listening. Stay off the rails.